Dimension W, Episode 10, Resurrected Nightmare. Now in this episode we actually get quite a few more answers, despite what we saw in the last episode. Kiyoma comes out of this and he's like, yep, I remember this, and we find out he remembers quite a few extra things that he's never said before, and I thought that was pretty interesting. He's like, yeah, this happened, and I remember this other stuff too, and I remember when I was in the big room and everything. It's like, oh, he remembered a lot of stuff. It was just like, the way they played it though, was like, all he really remembered was the beginning of the battle, but he still has flashes and stuff that he does actually remember. And I'm sure that kind of got kickstarted because of what happened in the last episode as well. But I like the way they started things off. It was like a little action piece for Mira, and she's trying to protect Kiyoma from the robot, and she ends up doing that. It was pretty cool. She destroys the robot, everything's fine, and then she's about to fly into the nothingness, and she does. But of course, Kiyoma wakes up in time, and he saves her while she's flying through the air. And I was thinking when she was like flying, she mentioned like, "Oh, I can't stop my trajectory," and I was like, "How in the world is she flying so far so fast?" And all she did was like take the coil out of the robot, and it basically just went like, and just it kind of dipped forward a little bit. But I'm like, it shouldn't be that much where it can throw like this, robotic body that weighs. It would have to weigh like over 200 pounds. Well, depending on the technology, I guess you never really know. It could be like very lightweight, materials, but at least it's the weight of a normal person. And just the way it looked, I guess it just didn't translate that well animation wise, because I'm like, that thing, even if it's high off the ground, it still just kind of dropped, and it was weird that it would be shooting her. It looked like it was almost 50 feet, like she was flying towards this thing, and I'm like, I feel like she wouldn't have been going nearly that fast. And also, I was like, she could easily just, like, if she just dived down, like anyone falling, she would probably have hit the ground before she landed in the nothingness as well. But ultimately, it didn't matter anyway because she got saved, so, problem solved there. But we also got to see that KK is actually turning people basically into, like, mind-controlled or, coil-based zombies. So we find out what he did to the other guy. So he put a coil inside of his head. He found Doug, so we actually did get to see another one of the Grendel members come back, unfortunately, in this distorted, weird sort of form. And we found out that he was actually caught in a Dimension W sort of rift, so he has like another top half of his body hanging out of his side. So we get to see him in this sort of resurrected form as well. And KK, I don't know what to expect from this guy. He's like a weird, like, sort of Victor Frankenstein type of character where he knocks people out and then turns them into little mind controlled robots, which makes sense why that would make him number two. And then we also find out why the number one collector in America is number one, and that's because he himself actually has a numbered coil. So he knows quite a bit more than it seemed when he was first introduced, because he says all this stuff, and it's like, he's talking with Loser, and it's like, how in the world do you know any of what I'm trying to do? He knows all this extra stuff. And they kind of introduce the fact that what they're looking for on the island is not just another numbered coil. It's like this mega super gold coil, which is insanely powerful. And, we actually get a glimpse of it through Kiyoma, but they describe it, before we get to actually see it through Kiyoma's little flash of memory. So they both know exactly what's on the island. They have a very interesting fight, but apparently, I don't remember the guy's name, but I'm just going to call him, the superhero collector. Apparently, with his one coil, he's stronger than Loser with four, which seemed a little weird to me, but it could be the fact that because physically you could tell he's a strong guy, but maybe the coil just enhances that, because if humans use it, I assume that it just enhances their natural abilities. And for Loser, even though he's a robot, that's pretty much all there is to it. He's a robot, so he has a set limit of how strong he can get, and he has the shields and, the fired spin thing he did, which is really awesome. But he's not strong enough to beat this guy, and I hope that he doesn't die. I'm assuming he won't, because it's the first season, or however they're going to do this. I was trying to figure out if they were going to end this series, if it was going to be like, like pretty much most anime, where despite the manga actually continuing on, they're just going to end it. And I don't know I guess it really depends on how popular this season truly gets. And hopefully it does get popular enough, especially with the Tsunami thing. It'll be able to pick up and we'll get to see, an actual continuation, because most anime do tend to end unless it's like Naruto or One Piece. I know Bakuman is one of the few anime I've seen that actually got 3 full seasons of a series. I believe it's finished at this point, but it actually went through, I assume, the entire manga and it didn't get canceled. So sometimes they make it, like Attack on Titan that actually has a season 2 coming up. So hopefully, we get a season 2. If not, I'll probably end up going into the manga if I have to, because I do like the story. But I'm assuming that he won't die. But I don't know. Like, I'm not sure, because of course I never read the manga. I don't know how fast we're shooting through it. And I know the manga is ongoing, so I'm just curious how far along we truly are. If this is like, they're just jamming the first big arc of the series, just into like, 12 episodes. Hopefully it's not going to end up being just 12, but I feel like with them on the island and everything, it could be that sort of deal where we end up only getting 12. And I'm hoping it's not just that. I'm really hoping we get like a good, 22 episodes for this season. But odds are with it being the first season, it will only get 12. So that kind of sucks. I feel like we're actually, very close to the end considering what episode we're on. But hopefully it goes beyond that. Hopefully it does get a season 2 and, they don't have to rush character deaths because they, want to fit it all into one season. But I'm definitely looking forward to figuring out exactly what happened with Loser. And like I said, I'm hoping he survives. I feel like despite the guy having, his physical body actually enhanced, I still feel like he shouldn't be able to beat him no matter what, even with the limitations of Loser's robotic body. He's got 4 numbers. Like, he's got 4 numbers. He should be, like, just, like, destroying everything. Like, based on how certain things have happened in the show, I feel like him having numbers should be, like, he could snap his finger and people just, like, get squished, like telekinesis or something. But that's not how it works apparently. So for whatever reason, him going up against this one guy, he's not strong enough to defeat him. And they also showed the actual number of the numbers, and one of them, I think it was the one on his left leg. I'm trying to do it because it was facing me, but I'm pretty sure the one on his left leg was like 215. So there are a ton of numbers out there. That was the highest one I'd seen before. I think before that was like 185 during the like Yasugami thing. So the numbers are, like, there are a ton of numbers out there, and I think that kind of leaves it open to a lot of other people discovering what numbers truly are, and depending on how things play out, other people might find out. But I just thought that was really cool. I was like, okay, so that increased the number again. They go beyond even 200. So there's a lot going on there. I don't know if some are stronger than others. That could be the case. I don't know. I guess that might actually be the case. That might explain why, because I believe the guy had like 6 or something. He had like a pretty low number if I remember right. So maybe it's like the very first ones were even more powerful than the later ones because they figured out a little bit how to contain them, and then they made just normal coils that only, kind of skim the surface of Dimension Delby. But hoping Loser survives. I definitely do. KK definitely almost got obliterated by Kyoma when Luai seemingly killed himself, and I was so happy when he showed up because I was super mad. I was like, man, he died, and basically, we saw him as this character. Of course, we knew he was a robot and stuff, and we just got his backstory, and then they kill him, and that was another thing when it first happened that made me think that we were close to the end of the season. And then it's like, no, he survived. I was like, thank goodness. I was like, because I didn't want him to be, killed off, especially so early. I don't want him to die in general, because I actually like his character despite how little I know about him. But when I thought he got killed off, I was like, that really sucks. So I'm assuming, based on how they did that, that his real body, or at least his real brain, may not even be in the area. I don't know, because clearly, with him having 2 bodies, either his brain is completely digitized and it's still him, but on a digital basis, so he can, kind of live forever, or he was controlling that because he's, maybe his brain is just like in some tube or something crazy like that, and so he just has multiple bodies at one time that he can control. But it's got to be one of those. Either his brain is in this new one that we saw, it's digitized, or it's, like in a tube somewhere random. So we'll probably get that answer in the next one where he'll say, oh, that was just a full-on robot, but I'm like the real me or something like that. And when they first did it, I thought it was going to be that he transferred his consciousness to the big mech thing. That's what I thought was about to happen. And then he's like, yeah, I got multiple bodies. And then it ended. I was like, okay, well, that just had a huge question for me. But I was really glad that he survived. Of course, the moment where he did, kill off that one body himself, and then Kiyoma's just like down the hallway, and KK looks at him, and it was just like full on demon mode where like it's just red and he's all crazy and distorted, and KK just starts sweating and stuff because he's so freaked out. I love that scene, and I was kind of hoping that we get something a bit crazier, but I think it was about to get crazy, and I guess with Kiyoma's skill, it can't get too crazy unless he's fighting a bunch of people, because KK couldn't do anything. It was like he stabbed him in the hand, and that was pretty much it, and he pulled out 3 more and was about to, hit him in the face, and then Mira jumps and grabs him, and that was another thing they did that really freaked me out, because I was like, there is no way that she's alive, because, they're on the island, and I'm like, she's, alive, like, because of his memory or something, but it turns out that it is Mira, but of course, that's the connection of her body and everything being the same as his ex-wives, or his wives. I never really know how to explain that, because they weren't, I guess they were married, because they show like the ring thing, but whatever. His wife, I'll just say. So he thought that was her for a quick second, and of course I did, because they showed her, and then it's like, oh, it's just Mira. He's just, he thought that it was her. That's how he was feeling. But that kind of messed me up for a quick second, and then they showed it was Mira. And then, of course, they show Luai is actually totally fine. It's like he's alive. He's totally safe and alive. Prince Salva is still in his dream, so I guess he hasn't figured out whatever answer he's supposed to figure out, because Kiyoma kind of went through his super fast, and then he kind of fell through all the memories. And then, Salva is still inside of his, and he's kind of just trapped right now. So we'll see how that plays out for him. But I'm definitely excited to see where they take, kind of Loser's side of things, because like I said, I hope he doesn't die. And with, now we have like quite a few characters now knowing exactly what's supposed to be in there. Even KK is a part of it, apparently. We find out that he's hired by someone, maybe New Tesla. It's possible that it's, someone else within New Tesla that's trying to keep everyone away from it. But it's like, alright, Kiyoma of course knows, we knew that. We found out that Loser was a part of everything that went down, so he knows what's going on. We find out that the superhero guy knows what's going on for whatever reason. We still don't have an exact explanation, but he just knows that, that golden orb, like, coil is there. And then KK is like, yep, I was hired by somebody to stop everyone because they know exactly what's here, and now I do too. So, we now have 4 powerful people, although I don't think we need to worry about KK anymore, unless he can get his hands on some more dead bodies. I don't think he's going to be an issue, especially with Kiyoma right there. He'll probably just like knock him out, and he'll be kind of out of the next couple episodes. But we have Loser, we have the superhero guy, and we have Kiyoma. And I don't know if Kiyoma can really go up against, these people. Because with Loser, he wasn't really trying to kill him. So it's kind of hard to really tell. And then with the superhero guy, kind of the same thing. If Loser can't beat him, then I feel like it would be a bit difficult for Kiyoma, to kind of do the same thing. It might be easier for him because he doesn't have, like, he's not a robot, so he doesn't have, like, fire shooting out of his hands and crazy stuff like that. So, it might be a little easier for Kiyoma to beat that guy, even with a number. But, I don't know, I'm like, he's obviously super strong, he's got super strength and all this crazy stuff, but it still makes me wonder, like, I don't think if he was truly going up against him, he'd be able to take him down because they have numbers. And I thought it would be Loser as like the main antagonist. That was kind of my big thing. And now it's like he could get taken down, or at least temporarily disabled. I don't think they'll really kill him even if he loses. And now we have the superhero guy who's just, flying around and stuff like an actual superhero. And he's got one of the numbers for whatever reason, because once again, don't know how he knows about it. Don't know where he exactly got the number from, if he took it from someone, if he just found it, or anything like that. But he has a number, and he just knew. Like, he already knew Loser had everything. He knew pretty much all about him, so I don't know if he was there on the island, and maybe he was just someone that he didn't, Loser couldn't recognize because he, completely changed over time. Or, maybe they just never met or something. I really have no idea. But I'm definitely looking forward to some answers about that guy, because now he's definitely piqued my interest as an important character. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. But certainly enjoyed this one. Definitely had some good action. quite a few little moments of surprise, and I'm glad why. Like I said, I'm very glad that he's not dead, because that would have sucked if he, got killed off. But it did lead to a great moment with Kiyoma, and like it made me think of Naruto actually, like some of the early episodes when he like first went into like his crazy fox mode. It kind of looked that way, and that's kind of how the animation is drawn for on Naruto for that when he would go into like the demon state. So it definitely made me think of that with the black and red aesthetic. But certainly enjoyed it. Depending on how things go, I feel like we might see that again, and we might get that against the superhero guy, if not against Loser, if he thinks someone else died, or if someone does die, or he actually sees his wife, or some craziness. Who knows? They almost have limitless possibilities with this whole alternate dimension thing. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be something that we got a glimpse, but I think we're going to see him go all out in one of these episodes. It'll probably be the last one, most likely, but either way, I'm looking forward to seeing that crazy mode again. Of course, though, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I want to know if you guys think Loser is actually going to be defeated, if he's going to win, or if he'll be defeated and just completely killed off from the series. Personally, like I said, even if he loses, I just feel like he's too important of a character to just end him with a death, unless it's, like right after he found answers. Because right now, he's trying to get this final number, and it's like, well, I thought it was a final number, but he's trying to get like this special orb. So unless he died like while he was about to get it or something like that, like in the last moment where it's like I can finally do whatever with this golden orb, which I would assume is actual limitless possibilities compared to even numbers. So I'm assuming he'll get to that point, and then if they kill him, that's where he die, like right when he's about to get the answers that he's looking for and finally get his chance at revenge. Then he'll get killed off right there, or like super close to death where he can't do anything anymore. But I think he might actually lose, considering they flat out said it. He was like, I can't even beat this guy, and then the way they did it, it's just like, I'm pretty sure it just ended with an explosion, and then it's like, something happened there. So I'm assuming he will get defeated because he said it himself, and despite it being anime, it's not one of the typical like you can do it type of anime, and then they poof they get powers. So I'm assuming he is going to get defeated, but I think he'll survive personally. But like I said, definitely want to know if you guys think he'll survive, if he'll win, if he'll lose, and the variations of each possibility there. And of course, what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.